All right, today we're gonna do power to powers. So when raising a power to power, you distribute the exponent, the base is the same, and you multiply the exponent, okay? For example, you have x to the fifth raised to the power to the sixth. So what you're gonna do is you multiply the 5 and the 6, so you got x to the 30, all right? But when you multiply the exponent, you basically add them, right? So these are different. So 11, okay? So this one right here. So this is the problem you're gonna work on, okay? So first, you're gonna take care of the coefficient. So 2 raised to the power of 4, they are coefficients, so you just do 2 to the power of 4, and you got 16. And then x to the power of 3 to the power of 4, you take 3 times 4, which is 12. And then y to the power of 2 to the power of 4, which is power root of 8. So that's your final answer. Okay. So 3 to the power of 5, okay, the number will be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, and I would use the calculator to do 3 to the power of 5. I got 243, okay, and then x to the power of 3 to the power of 5, so I take 3 times 5, which is x to the power of 15. Y to the power of 2 times 5 will be y to the power of 10. Z, 4 times 5, z to the power of 20. All my exponents are positive, so I can move on. All right, next one. X to the power of 3 to the power of 4. So I have x to the power of 12. And then y to the power of 8. You multiply them. This one means multiplication, so I'm going to multiply in a second. Remember PEMDAS? You take care of the exponent first before you multiply. So negative 2 to the power of 2, I have 4. X 1 to the, and then time 2 will be x to the power of 2, y to the power of 6. And then now I multiply them. Remember, when you multiply them, they must have the same base. So 4 times 1 means 4. The x, when you multiply exponent, you add them up. So you have x to the 14, y to the 8, add y to the 6, 8 to the 14 as well. Next will be 2 to the power of negative 4. And then you can use the calculator for this, and your answer will be 1 out of 16. X to negative 2 times x to the power of negative 4. So negative 2 times negative 4, you got positive 8. Y to negative 12, because 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. And z to the negative 4, because 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. Now you will see you will have some negative exponent, which is you're going to have to flip and put it at the denominator. So on the top, you still have x to the power of 8 times 1. But at the bottom, you will have 16 times y to the power of 12 and z to the power of 4. All right. So we have 3 to the power of 3, which is 3 is 9, 9 times 27. X to the, for this one, my bad, you will have power to power to power. So 3 to the power of 2, and then 2 to the power of 3. To be able to do this, you just think of like this. This should be right now in this way, right? So 3 to the power of 2, you got 9. And then you take 9 raised to the power of 3. 9 to the power of 3, you got 729, okay? So you can do that, 9 to the power of 3. But there's a faster way that you can think of is you take the 2 multiply with the 3. So you can think of 9 to the power of 3 earlier, the same as 3 to the power of 6. All right, and 3 out of 6, 3 to the power of 6 is the same as 729. So that means you can multiply the exponent first and then less the number raised to the power of that exponent. So x to the power of 2 times 2 and times 3. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. So x to the power of 12. Y to the power of 1. 1 times 2 times 3 to the power of 6. All right, and then we are going to continue with the simplify the following expressions. So this is including multi-step in here. So make sure you follow the PEMDAS. Parenthesis first, exponent, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. So let's take care of the first part, which is the exponent. I'm going to put the multiplication right here. So I know x to the power of 3 raised to another power of 3. So x to the power of 9. Y to the power of 12. And then you go into multiply later. Okay, we have to take another exponent. So we have x to the power of negative 2. Because 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Y to the power of 3 times negative 2, you have y to the power of negative 6. All right, last will be multiply the exponent. Okay, so to multiply the exponent, you go in to add them up. So x to the 9 to x to negative 2 will be x to the 7. Y 12 multiply with y to negative 6 will be y to the 6. Because 12 minus 6 will be 6. All right, same thing. Exponent first, and then multiply. Take care of the first term. To put a multiplication, because power to power we multiply. So 3 raised to the power of 2, you get 9. X to the power of 2 to the power of 2, x to the power of 4. Y to the power of 2, because 1 times 2 is 2. All right, the next term. So we have this one mean 2 to the power of 2 and then to the power of 4. 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 4. You will get 256. Get 4 to the power of 4 is 256. All right, x to the power of 1 to the power of 2 to the power of 4. So x to the power of 8, because you multiply all of them together. Y to the power of 3 to the power of 2 to the power of 4. You're going to have 8 to the power of 24. All right, next will be multiply. So we multiply the coefficient. You got 2,304. X to the power of 12. Could you add them up? And y to the power of 26. All right. All right, next one. You have a fraction raised to the power of negative 5. There's a parenthesis. So there's two ways for you to do this. You can take the numerator and raise to the power of negative 5. Or you can take and then you take the denominator raised to the power of negative 5 and then you simplify. Or you can simplify first, because PEMDAS, you can do the parenthesis. You can do everything simplify in the parenthesis, and then you do the exponent. So parentheses. So let's simplify them first. So 2/3, we leave it 2/3. Y to the power of 2, and then divide by y to the power of negative 3. So to divide, we subtract. So 2 minus 3 mean y to the power of 5. 0 minus 4, z to the power of negative 4. And then everything to the power of negative 5. Right? Okay, so put the multiplication. So 2/3 raised to the power of negative 5. Yes, you can put it in the calculator. 2/3 everything raised to the power of negative 5. You get 243/32. Y to the power of 5 times negative 5. You got y to negative 25 and z to positive 20. So everything negative exponent, we have to do the reciprocal. So on the top, you will have z20, because they are positive. At the bottom, you will have y to the 25th. Right. All right, this one. Okay. The top and the bottom have different exponents. So we're going to take at the top and then we're going to take at the bottom. So 4 to the power of 2 will be 16, not 8. Okay, 4 times 4, 16. X to the power of 6. Multiplication, remember that? Y to the 8, z to negative 8. The denominator, 6 to the power of negative 3. Again, if you're not good at this, you can use the calculator and make it to be a fraction. So 1 out of 216. X to positive 12, y to positive 3, and z to negative 3.
A few right bus, one.
All right, time to simplify. So 16 over 1 divide 216. You should get 3,456. X6 over x12. Remember, divide, you will subtract. So 6 minus 12 is negative 6. Y to the 5th, 8 minus 3 is 5. Z, negative 8 minus to negative 3, negative 8 plus 3, z to negative 5. All right. Negative exponent will need to be flipped. Put it at the bottom. So your answer will be this. All right. Another way, if you want to do, before you dividing them, if you see the negative exponent, you can put it down to the bottom, make it positive, and you can add this at the end. So you also get this, if that's what you'd like to do, okay? So either you can divide them by subtract, or you move the negative exponent to where they belong, and then add them up at the end if they are multiplying exponent.